The Articulate Redneck is brought to you by Harvest Time Archery and Tradition Guitars.
Hi, I'm the Articulate Redneck, and today we're going to talk just a little bit about testing the sharpness on your broadhead blades. Saw a video not long ago where a guy blamed a bad shot on an animal on his blades not being sharp enough. Well, the fact of the matter is, as soon as you take these blades out of the package and you put them on your arrows, the responsibility on having these things be sharp lies on you and not your manufacturer. A really good way to test the sharpness of these broadheads is using a rubber band. The reason why is rubber bands are pretty close to what the smooth muscle mass is going to be on your animal as far as density and elasticity. Smooth muscles are what makes up the veins and arteries as well as the organs within the animal itself, like the heart and the lungs. So what you're going to do is you're going to put just a little bit of tension on the rubber band like that, and you want to just try pushing the broadhead through right there. And right now I'm getting a little bit of tension on it. That one didn't cut at all. Try the other blade. It's not cutting it either. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that I get this thing sharp enough that I can take a rubber band and just touch it to the blade and it'll pop right on through. One thing you want to take note of is that you see how it's kind of pushing the rubber band out of the way there? It'll do the same thing to veins and arteries in the animal. If this isn't so sharp that it touches and cuts, you may be just pushing aside the vein or artery that you need to cut to put that animal down on the ground. So now that we've talked a little bit about how to test the sharpness of your broadheads, let's go over to the bench and make sure that we put a nice fine razor edge on this thing. Make sure when you're getting ready to sharpen these broadheads that you find a nice flat surface to work on. Keep the broadhead on the arrow so that you don't get your hands up there too close to where the blades are. If you're shooting a mechanical broadhead, keep the blades fully deployed. Take your broadhead sharpener. In this case I've got one that I picked up from Walmart that I like because it keeps a close guard on my hand and my thumb so I don't ever get too close to the blades. It also has a broadhead wrench on it for making sure the broadheads are nice and tight. And I like to do it just 2 strokes at a time, because once you get to that razor edge you do take the chance of actually folding the edge over on itself if you try to over sharpen. So I do just a couple of stripes on it and then I'll test it on a rubber band again and just do that over and over again until I get the edge that I'm looking for. Now this one went through a deer and just into the dirt, so it was a little dull, mainly from cutting through ribs and stuff, but I spent some time on it. Let's see how it's holding up against this rubber band now. Yeah, it's cutting right through. Let's try that other side. See how it's doing. Now remember, this couldn't cut at all before. It was just pushing the rubber band out of the way. Yeah, nice and sharp. That's what we want to see. So this one's ready for hunting. This will probably be one of the broadheads I'm using this hunting season. And make sure, please, 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 don't just assume when you take a broadhead out of the package that it's going to be sharp. There's not a manufacturer in the world that cares as much about the sharpness of your broadheads as you do. So put the time in. Make sure it's got a razor edge on it, because in the archery world, you only kill what you can cut. I'm the Articulate Redneck. Till next time, shoot straight.